Oh boy. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Behind the Blocks, the live show where we take you behind closed doors and show you kind of the cool stuff that we're doing with our game Q.U.I.R.K. You guys get to know us, the devs of the game Q.U.I.R.K, a little bit better. And you guys are joining us in the tail end of our crafting project. Kelly and I, oh, by the way, I'm UGW Timber.
I am UGW Kills Bills, video wizard.
And I'm world-renowned fitness guru Jack LaLanne.
He's not. Ooh. He's UGW Aether, and we round out the community team here at UGW.
Yeah, we do.
And yeah, we're making props from Q.U.I.R.K, bringing them to life.
It's been very inspiring to watch what you've done. I mean, I'm not even being a smarty pants. Normally, you can count on me to be a smarty pants, but really impressive stuff. Mm-hmm. It's really inspiring me to want to do my own thing.
Yeah.
Which I'm working on with Matatat. He's our 3D artist animator lead. We've got some stuff ready to go, and it could even be a project that you could be involved in with me.
It's pretty cool. I'm really excited.
I'm gonna need some help.
It's awesome. So yeah, we've been working on these projects for the last 3 weeks. This is going to be our last push. So after this stream, you guys will get to see the finished product later this week. I don't know if we'll get the finished product because we can't spray paint on stream, unfortunately.
Yeah,
I mean,
no. It would be very interesting.
It would be very interesting. As it is, if I get the hammer parts, it's going to stink up the place.
Stink up the joint. As per usual, they won't let me use any chemicals or sharp objects, so I'll be continuing my project, which is coloring shrimp.
But we also have a topic today. We decided to put a topic in, so while we work, we'll be talking about that, and we really want to encourage you guys to get involved as well in this conversation. It's one that's very near and dear to our hearts.
Yeah.
It's bullying, both in the online space and otherwise.
You know, and we did talk about this a little bit, didn't we? It's one of those things where bullying, it's hard to make the distinction between, oh, here's how you handle online bullying and bullying. So we're going to talk about the bigger picture, but we want to have a dialogue. So if you have questions or thoughts or things that have worked for you or things that you've heard about, resources that you want to share, we're going to talk a lot about that.
Yes. And just real quick, for those of you who are not live, who are watching the VOD in the future, or right now, I guess is how it would be. Feel free to drop those thoughts down below in comments. You can also join our Discord to continue the conversation at discord.gg/Q.U.I.R.K. We'd love to hear your thoughts as well, even though you can't be here live with us.
Yeah. You're still in our heart. This table is very gritty, as often is the case when it comes time to do craft projects.
Yep.
I want to talk a little bit about, let me just do a little bit of intro. We'll talk craft stuff, but this is just meant to be a dialogue. First of all, when you think about bullying, how do you two define it? Think about actions, things, experiences.
That's an interesting question. I don't think I've ever been asked that before. I'm going to answer it while I'm sealing up this hammer.
Nice.
We're going to try.
I'm going to put on some chapstick because my lips are dry as paper.
Thanks, Kelly.
There's some little things I used to pick out.
Oh, perfect. For me, also, goodbye, Gothic Medic. Enjoy your burgers.
Thanks for dropping in.
I'm going to color them shrimps.
For me, it's bullying is any action that is specifically meant to hurt in any capacity. I know you could accidentally bully somebody, without realizing that you're kind of being a bully, but I think intent is
important.
Very important with bullying, because I think
interesting.
Yeah, that's always kind of how I felt about it. But
I also think that people can mistakenly have sort of a flip or glib or they make a joke that's hurtful. I often joke quite a bit just because I love to laugh and I love to laugh with people, and the majority of what I do is fairly, I call it self-deprecating, but I make fun of myself. I enjoy being goofy and silly, and but it took me
Yeah.
a long time to be okay with who I am because of bullying, and to protect myself against bullying,
You'd bully back.
I'd bully back.
Yeah.
I really would.
I think that's pretty.
and that
pretty
was
common.
rough.
Holding it at an angle where it's more. There you go.
There you go.
Okay, so you're using sort of this is almost like lining a tub or something to kind of
Yeah, this is just
sealing up some of the
literally
fill
sealing.
in. That's cool.
Yeah, which I'll go back and like sand it down.
So I want to say something really quickly that's very important to me.
Okay.
While we are going to be sharing
It does this
a
every time.
lot of craft and skill,
Luckily, it's easy.
we're going to be talking a
Doesn't
little
have
bit
to be
about what
perfect.
the motivations of a bully may be. They are vast and manifold, as I like to say. That doesn't make it okay. If you're in a situation where you're experiencing bullying online or in person, you are okay to feel the way you feel about it. There are some considerations and some things and ways for you to kind of help yourself. So bullying can fall into categories like somebody's teasing you, but not in a fun way. Repeatedly teasing you, making jokes at your expense in large groups of people. Threatening you in a physical way, whether that's online or, in the, when we march rams for you.
Thank you.
So any kind of threat of physical violence or shame.
That's a big
I'm
one,
gonna
yeah.
tell somebody something about you. Spreading rumors. There are times that bullying can even be considered moments where that person has gone out of their way to make you feel like you're not one of the cool kids. And also, generally reaching out to you in ways to intimidate you. It doesn't, when it's not physical, it's,
Right. It's mental. Hi, Dog Star.
Hi,
Welcome
Dog Star.
to our crafting part 4,
Yeah.
and also our dialogue about bullying. Feel free to join in on the conversation. We were just talking about how bullying is and the different, I guess, should I put this? The different
scenarios or
Scenarios,
definitions.
yeah.
I think it's important for people who. Well, I think it's important that we talk about this because it's one of those situations where if you don't talk about who you are as it relates to bullying and the behaviors and attitudes that you exhibit when you're dealing with people, are you, if you were to rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10, do you fall into the category of someone who has care and concern for people who are different, people who are differently abled, people who are being picked on? Oftentimes, that's all it takes to shut down a bully is to have someone say, "Hey, we don't do that."
Right, we don't do that here.
Yeah.
I'd like to extrapolate
Yeah, do.
on that a little bit too. As we go into this dialogue, everyone has different tolerances, and I think that's important to note. Where somebody's saying something hurtful for me, I may be like, oh, whatever, doesn't matter. I can brush it off. But at no point does my tolerance go to somebody else's tolerance. And I see that a lot, especially online, where we'll just suck it up.
Well, this is just how we talk.
This is how we talk. And I think that comes from I am not hurt by it, therefore why should you be hurt by it? And
Well,
I think
and a
that's
lot of
big
times,
thing.
yeah, I do too. Actually, I really do. At the end of the day, the person who gets to tell, wow,
I just didn't-
the person who gets to define whether or not they feel uncomfortable or feel like they're being bullied is the person being bullied. And if you share with somebody, we talk about this stuff a lot because we joke a lot, but if something comes across as uncomfortable or you don't like it, then you have the right to say, I don't like this. This is making me feel uncomfortable. And you know what else you can say? And I say it all the time. This is really bothering me. I don't necessarily have the words for it, but I'd like us not to do this.
Right.
Or I'd like us to have this discussion. Oftentimes, though, when you're dealing with a bully, they're looking potentially for ways to treat you poorly, and sometimes it helps to think about what may be motivating a bully to be the way they are. When I was younger, I really thought a lot about the kinds of where I would go at school. Like, I had a ton of friends. I really, really enjoyed it. But then every once in a while, you'd run into somebody who was. I mean, there's not a person on this planet that hasn't experienced bullying in one form or another, no matter how cool they may think they are or you may think they are. The message, really, that I hope anybody takes is that you're not alone. I especially want to reach out to our community and let you know that we interact with you, all of us, because we're making a really fun video game, but we do this because we love community.
Yeah.
We were doing these kinds of things before we were paid to do them. And there are a lot of ways that you can help protect yourself against online bullying and bullying in general. But the one key thing I want you to take from any of this is that if you're experiencing bullying or you feel in crisis, you feel like you need support, or you need care, you need someone to talk to, we're here for you.
Yeah.
We're here
24 hours
24 hours a day. And if we don't get to you right away through discord.gg/playquirk, we'll be there. You can send us a note to community@ugenworld.com. Eugen loves you at ugenworld.com. You can reach out to us and say, I need some help. Or you could even say, I just want to get this off my chest. I don't want to do anything with it. I want you just to hear me out. And we do that quite a bit.
Yeah, we do that a lot.
Because sometimes online bullying feels like it's online bullying, but it's also a skill that you sort of develop over time in dealing with conflict.
Yeah.
And sometimes conflict kicks off that bullying kinds of stuff.
Hi, Cub.
Pick up.
Hi, Cub.
I
I know.
don't know if I'm gonna beat them. I don't think beating anyone up is will help. I'm fascinated that this is still happening too, by the way.
I think that there is.
But yeah.
I think that there is this sort of, and I know Cub is joking a little bit, and I think that in this space, it's okay for us to joke a little bit, but I think that we also need to be reflective of that violence is not going to be the solution for this problem. And when you think about Hollywood and what they've done, that's always the fighting back can be, like punching the bully in the nose and, all of that stuff. Well, the reality there is that if a bully is bullying you and you punch them in the face over it, you could get into a lot of trouble.
Then you're the bully.
And you're the bully, yeah.
Then you can also get into some legal trouble, and it's unfair, but it's the truth of the matter. Docstar says, I'm one of the nicest people out. I have sisters, both special needs. I've had to stand up against bullies for them so much of my life. It makes me sad that there are people in the world that are just mean bullies. I agree. I do feel sad for those people because 9 times out of 10, those people who are acting that way are hurting themselves.
Right,
Yeah.
need some
They're
help
in
themselves.
pain.
Yeah.
That doesn't make you, again, that doesn't diminish the fact that what they're doing is wrong. But sometimes when you take control and you say, hey, this is not the way you will talk to me. I don't like this behavior. And you do it from a place of conviction and a place of understanding that you're not alone, and that when you identify behavior that you don't like, you call that out. And now that's not for everybody. All kinds of personalities. But when you're in a situation where you are being bullied or if you can count yourself as somebody who may have been a bully or is bullying, like, I think it's important for you to take an assessment of your life.
Right, reflect on
who you
on
are.
your actions.
Yeah. Are you being kind to people in need? Are you bullying other people because you're being bullied? What's happening there? I think it's a great exercise for you to really kind of get into who you are in all of this. It's about growing and it's about maturing. The notion that there are people out there with special needs that are being attacked or being treated poorly, well, that's a heartbreaker for me.
Yeah.
It really is, especially given the capacity that humans have to just be amazing. When I see the work that people with special needs have done to far surpass things that I've been able to accomplish in my life, I don't know where anyone finds it in themselves to be that way.
I find whenever I'm angry or upset or just want to like lash out, I find it exhausting.
Me too.
That's always something that surprised me, is like, how do you have the energy to be like this all the time? And I've definitely met people who are just like that all the time, who are just mad and sad. I got bullied in a special needs kid. By a special needs kid in elementary school, and I.
Well, so let me speak to that as well.
Yeah.
I think that when you look at why people bully or why people treat other folks the way they do, sometimes you will run into folks who are wired in such a way that they're just mean. Sometimes you'll be dealing with people who are dealing with constant daily pain because of a myriad of issues. There are some special needs folks who have certain behavioral challenges. Those are the kinds of things, and this is a thread throughout all of this, you need to talk to an adult because that isn't acceptable. And I think that it's really important that people talk about it, because I also think that what allows bullies to grow and exist is silence. Cub says, my son got yanked and thrown off the adult and didn't do anything or even talk to the kid. Those are really difficult circumstances when you are in the midst of this thing and you are being attacked and that first adult that you go to or that first adult who witnesses doesn't respond. You go to another adult. Ask for adults to listen to you.
I think asking is really important. I think it's easy as a kid, especially when you're young, to go, oh, one person said this thing, that's it. But there's so many other people to go to and talk to and different resources that might be able to help you out.
Absolutely. And so in thinking about, like, it's one thing to sort of be like, hey, let's find an adult and talk to them, but what would you, like, even let's even just use the words, like, what would you say to someone if you needed help?
I want to put this on because I feel really threatening. We're like talking about let me tell you what you should do.
Can you
with
put
this
it in the
baseball
cup
bat.
and
That's a fine idea. Let's see. Not think
maybe
this
get those
through.
gloves that are over there and then.
First of all, I think if you've gotten that step where you feel like you can go to somebody, an authority or an adult, that takes a lot of courage just doing that.
It really does.
Because
there's some
fear of
shame
retaliation.
involved.
Oh, shame for sure.
Yeah. You don't want to be the tattletale. You don't want to be the There we go.
So there's that
Good
first
work.
step, and then it's difficult when the people you talk to, especially the first people, don't make you feel heard.
Yeah.
That's really sad.
Especially if they witness something that's going on, that's a problem. And I want to validate what Cub was saying, that there are, oftentimes I think it's very easy for kids to think adults have all the answers or they're the end all be all of the, but the reality is they're not. And there are adults out there who are very well trained in how to de-escalate these situations and to be there for you as a resource. So I think it's important that you keep it up. Because I also think that there's some strength in being validated when someone's treating you poorly.
Well, there's all the strength in being validated.
Yeah. And also to take a moment to say, this isn't acceptable to me. Not just because it's mean to be mean, but I don't like this.
This is my boundary.
I have control.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Taking control.
Yeah, I think that's really important.
There are aspects of bullying that can bring on all kinds of things. I think about anxiety. I think about, wanting to fit in, and so you may make choices in your life that you wouldn't normally make because you don't want to be bullied.
Right.
And you want to be cool, and you want to fit in, whatever cool means. That's such a trite little phrase. There's also moments where I think people may decide, oh, good, I'm going to bully because, the eye's off me. And I can understand that because it's a self-preservation kind of mechanism. But you should, again, take stock of how you're acting and if you're doing what you're doing because...
I think it's again intent. Like, what is your intent by doing this action? And when I say intent, I don't mean like the intent. I think for bullying is both to hurt, but also to get something. And I think a lot of bullying comes from
Attention.
And
control.
And control, exactly.
And many of those kids, I would guess, and I've listened to a lot of stories over the years about that. And then you sort of expand their bubble, and you see all the rest of the things where they don't have control in their life,
right?
And they are often, like Troy said earlier, being bullied in some facet or another by
or suffering from some kind of a family issue or
or somewhere, and it's accidental. Oh, go ahead.
Go no.
Even I think accidental bullying we touched on a little bit. There's that intent is I'm going to bully this person because I want them to come out and drink with me. And I think that's pretty common. When, like, come on, come be cool. Come be cool. What are you, a loser? And even though I think in the moment when it's among friends, it's friends trying to get your friend out because you want them out. And I don't think it necessarily comes from a place of malice so much as, and it's important to stop and think like, oh, wow, I'm really pressuring. I think pressure is a form of bullying with intent, but not malicious intent as well. And
and
really common. Like, way common.
Yeah, I think over my lifetime, I've learned how my communication improved with self-awareness and with really just trying to understand and get into the mind and the shoes of the other person.
Yeah.
Like in your scenario, you're trying to get somebody to come out and play.
Yeah.
And you're calling them weak or some other thing.
That
means the same thing, but that's very hurtful and
yes.
And in many different kinds of circumstances. No, and also maybe you don't know what's happening with them in a particular moment. You don't know what their deals are.
Peer pressure is a thing, and it is. Oh boy, back in my high school, that was the thing.
So, Cub says peer pressure isn't a thing in high school. I've never been asked to drink or smoke, and I'm disappointed.
Don't be disappointed.
I think that there are. I think that it definitely depends on kind of where you're at. That is a thing that peer pressure is something that people really do face, but peer pressure doesn't end when you're in high school. I mean, when you look at as you grow up and the people you start to emulate and the people that, you look at your professional career, you may engage in behaviors, say, I don't know, in the workplace or out in the world that you wouldn't normally or that maybe go against what your core values are. And oftentimes, I would say the people that I've sat down and talked to, and my background, working with young people in nonprofit organizations, and one of the things that I've asked kids in the past is, what do you believe in? What are your values? And they would say, oh, it's important not to lie, or oh, don't be mean, or oh, don't. But I'm like, what do you care about?
Yeah.
And I don't know that we, even as adults, spend enough time saying, what are my values? And I think that that's part of what stops bullying in its tracks. And I think it's also part of what insulates you from people that are attacking you or looking to make you feel less than. Because if you say, this is just silly, it's like somebody coming up and saying, you are from Mars, and now you're from Mars. Neener, neener, neener. You're like, actually, I'm really not. I'm pretty sure I know that I'm not.
I'm a human from this planet.
I'm a human from this planet, but I wish I was going to Mars right now, and I would invite you, because Mars is where you go to get more candy bars. If I recall my childhood.
If I recall. Like, Troy bullies me. He keeps saying I'm super duper cute and amazing and better than him. It's true, he does, all day. He's always like, Sarah, you cute, though.
What I do? What?
You bully Sarah by telling her she's cute all the time.
I do. I'm like, Sarah.
Such a bully.
But I also think that if you can also get caught into a cycle where you spend more time thinking about the negative stuff, people.
Just feel it.
I'm not doing what I'm doing.
Feel it.
It's
so
nice and
soft.
smooth. All right, let's do a little craft update. What are you doing? Let's put this on hold.
Oh, we should. We should definitely do a craft update.
What's going on in the craft party?
Craft party. I am sanding down the middle part to the hammer. Getting it nice and smooth and ready to go. Getting the shapes I want it to.
Nice.
That's what I'm doing.
I am
So-
currently making the back of the rocket, this little point that sticks out.
I love it. Oh, it's the pointiest.
Oh, I see it.
It will go on here. Oh, we're gonna use the craft cam.
A craft cam.
Craft cam. Then I can show you my shrimps.
So it's a little blown
There
up
we
right there.
go.
You can see that part will go on there.
Very
No, that'll all be
nice.
painted red, which will go on to the back
Bum, bum, bum,
of
bum.
this.
Can we, let's see if I can do this. Yeah.
So that's where we're at with the rocket launcher.
It's beautiful.
Wow, it's looking so
It's the
good.
most
So are you
rocket
feeling
launcher.
like percentage-wise you are 80% of the way there?
I'd say probably 85.
85.
I just have a little bit more shaping to do. Like I said, I'll plug it down with a little point, and then I forgot to fill this in here. So I just attached the stock today, and it went really well. So
That's
can see
awesome. You
there's
gotta-
a supporting
There you
piece of wood
go.
in there. This center thing is made of wood, and it goes all throughout the stock. And then a bunch of super glue to support it.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
I
Well, you know
love
what?
it.
I don't have the scope. I'm gonna go get it.
Oh yeah, get it. It looks good.
Lots of progress, but the painting is going to take so much time.
Yeah.
So much time.
Unfortunately, we can't quite paint on stream, but we will definitely be sending picture updates to our social media.
Boop-a-dee-bee-to-doo. And now look at my shrimp.
Shrimp.
Take a look at my shrimp. They're
at 'em.
super
Look at 'em.
shrimpy. Look at them. Look how beautiful they are. Wow,
This poor guy.
shrimp
It looks like
cam.
this is actually really
Shrimp
nicely.
cam.
Are you
Yeah.
gonna cut? I want to cut them out and put them as stickers. Oh no, she walked away. Now we only have craft cam.
Crap. Oh yeah.
You
Well.
guys can watch me. You guys can watch me sand. I like to.
Yeah. Get in there and sand.
Let's see. Docstar says yes. Same. I didn't get pressure, trigger smoke, but I remember the older kids did school camp. I got ooh. Oh boy, that sounds like a nightmare. Apologize in front of the whole school. Yeah, we got stuck on
Oh,
craft
wait a minute!
camp.
But I remember the older kids did school camp and got snapped.
Got
and
snapped.
sent. What do you get snapped? What is that like? You got in trouble for it?
Yeah, I think they got caught.
Yeah.
Sorry, just grabbing something off the floor.
Yeah, you know.
I think that question is.
Cub asks the question,
Yeah.
why would you smoke in school camp? But, you know, there are times, no matter whether you're an adult or you're a kid, that you do dumb things.
Yeah. I think that question speaks to your wisdom there, Cub.
Well, also,
Why would you-
yeah, it might speak more to your wisdom. And you know what they say, hindsight's 50-50?
Yeah.
I do.
But you know what they say,
Scope,
girls just
Look at that
wanna
scope.
have
Show that
fun.
scope.
Ooh.
Scope.
Show the scope.
Scope.
There you go.
Through.
It's perfect. Got caught, yes, they got caught.
Ah, snapped. So,
That's
oh, I like
beautiful.
that slang. That looks
I
good.
love this. Scope really brings it together.
It does. Anyway, I'm pretty proud.
You should be proud. It's beautiful.
Taking the scope out for now, though.
You know, some ways that, when we talk about how everybody in school, everybody that you work with, oftentimes the bullying happens from people that you don't know, but more often it can happen from people that you do know. There are all kinds of things that occur. At the end of the day, you really do need to take a kind of an assessment of your online digital space. I do this with a lot of different people where we sit down and we say, let's take a look at your digital footprint. What trail are you leaving across the internet? If you're utilizing Twitter or Facebook or any of the social media stuff, you are leaving a trail. Who are you on the internet? And for those of you who think you can have a secret account out there posting stuff, it's not true. How's your hand doing? You kind of hurt yourself a little earlier
Yeah, I was just
today.
I was just getting like dust in it, so I was just looking at it. I might have to put on a glove. Yeah, today I found out that when you cut towards yourself, you're gonna cut yourself in
I
half.
think that was our first crafting. Ow.
It's a big one. Yeah. It happens.
Well, Kelly and I sprung into action.
Yeah, these guys were my heroes. They were just,
I was like, tape!
yeah, I walked kind of back, and meekly just goes, I don't think I'm going to be crafting anymore today. And they both like,
I heard that tone of voice, and then I heard Kelly go, girl! And then I was like,
girl. Yeah, my thumb currently looks like the Joker from The Dark Knight. Want to know how I got these scars?
why so serious?
Why so dumb?
Why so craftious?
I'm a dum-dum.
So here's another thing I think it's important to think about. When people get bullied, you often feel helpless. You often feel like you can't do anything. But that is
It's perfect.
the psychological power that a bully holds over people is threatening you with shame or blame or physical violence, or I'll ruin your reputation. That's all a bunch of crap. The power is in the secret. And stepping outside of yourself and going to the people that help you, even if it's your best friend, to sit down and say, what do I do to have a real conversation?
Yeah.
Talk to, if you have a relationship with your parents. Is it a special aunt? Is it, I had wonderful aunts when I grew up. I mean, they're like my sisters, wonderful people. I also had really great teachers in school that would know
This is not going to go well, is it?
What is happening
that
back
would
there?
no that's gonna
Oh!
it's gonna do the same thing.
Yeah.
It's gonna bubble burn it.
Okay. Well, I kind of didn't like this anyway.
Live and learn.
Are you over it anyway?
Yeah, I was like,
But I'll tell you something that I do, and part of that is because
Where did it go?
of the person that I am and the person that I've grown to be. But when I see bullying, I immediately get involved.
yeah.
It's against my ability not to.
Yeah.
And I think that three of us share that kind of, like,
Yeah.
I can tell this person, and like I'm gonna try to intervene in a way that is,
like what's going on. And I think that goes to both seeing somebody be bullied and seeing somebody whose attitude maybe is conducive to being a bully. I can't tell you how many times I've stepped into like, hey, you seem, a little aggro, what's going on? And I think that's a really important question. What's going on in any scenario is like the best is my favorite question. Like, what's up?
I
Like,
like
how are
to
you
even.
feeling?
Are you okay?
Are you okay?
Are you
Yeah.
all right? I'm seeing you act this way, and it doesn't appear to me that is
Yeah.
very enjoyable for you or the people around you. So
Yeah.
where are you at? What can I do to help you?
That question goes really well for both, I think. Bullies and bullied. Is what's you all right? Just checking in.
Yeah,
Just
check
always
in, check in.
And I know for our younger folks, it may feel like you don't have the power to be able to help
Or to make a difference.
or make a difference, but always ask, "What's up? You all right?"
Yeah,
Like,
and
how is
again,
everything?
I want to tell you
something
that
takes a lot of courage
Yeah.
to shut off the negative defensive reactions of anger and fear and let compassion replace those. It's such a hard thing to do.
it really
It's
is.
a thing that at least I work on my entire
I do
life.
too.
And it can be very challenging, but it always works out better, and you always feel so much better if you take that path.
Yeah.
Well, let's get into that a little deeper
Yeah.
because I think that I will. I'm keenly aware of folks around me and how they feel, and I think it's why I'm in the business of doing online community management. I'm pretty lucky, and I know you're the same, that we make ourselves available to our community, and we've talked to folks when they've been in times of crisis, and and we encourage people to continue to do that. But one of the things that I want to make perfectly clear, and this is 100% true, is that you can be a leader. You can stand up and be a part of what makes the world a better place, your world a better place. You don't have to go, I mean, if you've got the skills, then go cure you some cancer. But when it comes to being an example to the world about the good way to live and a happy way to live and being inclusive and inviting folks, it doesn't mean that you have to necessarily understand a different person, but to love and to care for them, that is okay.
Yeah.
Please get in there and do it.
I'm gonna go, Cub, go. I believe in you.
I believe in you too.
You can do it.
But I'm serious when it comes to that thing where you don't have to. It's not like when I say be a leader, I don't mean like suddenly you don cape and a tights and you're like anti-bullying person to the rescue. What it means is having empathy and seeing that someone may be in pain and saying to them, I don't know if you want to talk about it, but I want you to know I'm here.
Yeah, I see you.
I see you.
It's so important.
Gosh, that's really well said. And sometimes people just need that.
They just need to be seen. Because it's harder. I feel like, I know when I was a kid, it was harder for me to speak up. But I always wanted to be seen, so I would just be sad all the time if I wasn't seen, but I also didn't know how to ask to be seen.
You know, it's funny.
It's really hard.
For me, it was the opposite. I wanted to do my own thing, and I didn't want to be seen, but I wanted to be seen, and I wanted people to leave me alone.
I'm here now. Go away. That's fair.
I basically was like, I am, you know.
You remind me of what's her face from The Good Place, standing on the cafeteria table and telling all the cliques,
Pretty much,
like, "Hey,
pretty much
I'm the new girl."
that attitude, but with all black clothes, giant black Robert Smith hair, piercings, and the whole thing. And I was really just like, hey,
I'm here.
you can't deal with this, then looking back, I was still able to make some really great friends, despite that, because I think my nature, even cloaked in the gothy exterior, is to love and to connect with people and all that good stuff.
I can't even picture that.
It's true.
Really, yeah.
It's really funny. But there's also some power in that, but at the end of the day, it was sort of like, well, if you don't like me, I'm going to give you some real bold reasons not to like me.
Oh, that is
look at
so
that.
gross.
Another
That's
lesson to be
artsy.
learned. This is weldwood contact cement.
You accidentally made the Death Star. You show the Death Star.
The Death Star. I'm not sure I see the Death
Oh, yeah,
Star.
I guess
but-
I do.
Kinda
Like,
do.
it's like, there's like that big
Oh,
red
yeah,
circle
sure.
there.
Sure, why not?
It's gross. Ooh, that focused though. Yeah, that's gross. It wanted it for a second. There you go. Oh.
Cup says, I need a job so I can get a car, but I need a car so I can get a job.
The
Yeah.
bubbles are
Yep.
glue and it's
The old
glue.
catch-22.
The old, what comes first, the job or the, what hatched first, the job or the...
I rode public transit to my first job for the first 2 years of it.
So did I.
Wow.
Yeah.
Not necessarily the most pleasant of experiences.
I got that car.
Oh man, so bubble. Yeah, that was quite the bubble.
Yeah. Oh no!
Catastrophe strikes.
My
Comes for all of us.
I need the Dremel for the
Prismacolor.
rest of this.
This thing that I'm holding in my hand.
Huh? No, the Dremel. I need the Dremel.
Oh, you do.
No, that was the knife that bullied my thumb earlier, so I'm kind of mad at it right now. I haven't used it all day. I switched to a different mouth.
Can you put yourself in its position?
Yeah.
It didn't have a choice.
Well, you know what happened was actually I was
The really
I was
bad allegory. Like, yeah.
the worst. I was kind of the bully to it because it wasn't cutting deep enough, so I just kind of pressured
Bad
it
allegory.
until it went through my thumb. Is what happened.
So, the lesson is...
Don't bully X-Acto knives.
Lesson is point the blades at your buddy, not your body.
No, that's also a bad lesson.
Wait.
I think the lesson is safety third.
Do as I say, not as I do.
So more resources for you. As I've grown up, back in the day, I used to think I'm the only one that feels this way,
Yeah.
or I'm the only one in this place. I'm the only one in this spot. And it was tough until I realized I'm not.
Yeah.
Like
There's
there
a lot
are
of
other people who feel. Now that might make you feel a little less special. If that's what you're after, then I think maybe you need to do a little thinking. But finding people who have that understanding of where you're at, and even if they may not necessarily experience it the same as you, but they give you the opportunity to say, "This is how I'm feeling," and they give you some feedback, and they give you, sort of help you. Sometimes it feels good just to talk about it. Like there have been many times where I've been carrying around a weight and I just talk about it with someone and I'm like, I feel like I can tackle this.
Yeah.
Talking about it is
It's huge.
yeah.
Even if you feel like I have this problem with, man, if I bring this up, I'm just gonna sound too sad. But I found every time that I've ever brought anything up that's really weighed on me, it always works out for the best. Anytime, like, hey, I'm feeling this way. It's pretty rare that ever backfires.
I'll agree. Every once in a while, there are other social dynamics that kind of ruin that. But
Yeah.
I also think when I sit down, or even when we talk about, let's take it to friction that we identify, critical problems that we need to solve around social features or things that, like we want to make sure we're protecting young people in our game. Sitting down and having the dialogue about it is really valuable.
Yeah, just getting out there talking about it.
And we have the luxury as well as, we're friends in addition to the work that we do. And so there have been many times that I've talked to either one of you or any of the folks in the studio about kind of where I'm at because of a certain thing and felt a hell of a lot better, heck of a lot better because of it.
Yeah.
But it is true that not everybody's going to have the luxury of feeling safe enough to talk about the people who are immediately around you, which is why we're going to share a bunch of resources.
Yeah, let's get in there.
Let's get in there. I want to talk a little bit about First of all, you are entitled to your feelings. You're entitled for
gosh,
help.
yes.
You are entitled to all of that
Huge.
stuff.
So empowering.
To be able to say, I am okay.
Yeah.
No, not I'm okay.
No.
But having my feelings is not only
Normal.
okay, it's very needed, and listening to
Right.
what those are actually are,
You have a
and you
right
have
to
a
that.
Oh,
complete
wow.
right to your feelings. And some people will make you think that your feelings are wrong,
Yes.
or that you shouldn't have them,
Yes.
or that you would be better off if you didn't have
Yeah.
them.
Right.
And
I think
that's-
anyone who tries
that's
to
unfortunate.
invalidate those feelings.
Yeah, feel your
yeah.
feelings. Number one piece of advice.
I remember when I had this moment where
Feel your feelings.
where I was thinking, gosh, what am I doing wrong? Like I'm in a, you know, whether it's an interpersonal relationship or something, I'm just like, what am I because I'm somebody who is always, I want to take responsibility for the things
Yeah.
that I'm responsible
Me too.
for. I definitely do, right?
I beat up myself.
I do. I definitely am the same way. But there are moments where I'm just like, I've tried all these things, but this person is saying this, or I'm feeling this way, and then I came upon the term gaslighting.
Oh boy.
Do we want to talk about that?
Yeah.
Talk to me about it.
Where to begin, really?
I think that there's just definitely you will run in to people in your life who may be wonderful people or who may be, you know, working on being the best person they can be, but they can make you feel as though your feelings are invalid and that why are you feeling this way? You know, or
And I think that rounds back to the I'm not feeling this way. Why are you feeling this way? You should be feeling how I do on situations.
right. And don't you feel
You know?
weird now because you feel this way and I don't?
and I don't. Like,
yeah.
why would you feel that way when I don't?
And I think that that's a really important thing for you to remember is that it is okay for you to say, I'm uncomfortable and I'm not exactly sure why, but I need to step away from this. I need to talk to an adult. You need to go with that gut feeling and, you know, and protect yourself.
Yeah.
Because you're valuable.
Yeah.
And you're smart. And we love you.
All of those things. Let's get since we don't have too much time left, let's go ahead and
I want to talk a little bit about stopbullying.gov. It talks a little bit about some stuff that you already know, but it talks about other resources that there are online. It talks about resources that you have got by way of law enforcement. It also provides you with access to resources that outline programs that are leadership programs for youth, phone numbers that you can call to talk to people and protect yourself.
great resource.
It talks about prevention. It talks about all kinds of stuff. So that's stopbullying.gov, but that's one of several different resources out there. I'm trying to find.
And we'll make sure to post these on our social media on like Twitter, at
gonna write an
Q.U.I.R.K,
article,
Facebook.
too.
We'll have an article up. So if you guys did miss this or are curious and want to click a link, we'll have those up for you
And
as well
share a
after the
link.
stream. And share, yeah.
Absolutely. And I think that there are places in your community, depending upon where you are, no matter where you are on the globe. There is also the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline for
that's
folks in the
huge.
U.S. 1-800-273-TALK. 1-800-273-8255. There are also opportunities for people who may not have the finances or the resources to afford to talk to a therapist, or you can make arrangements. These are all resources that are listed under stopbullying.gov. There
Teen
are.
Link on there.
What's that?
Teen Link.
Yes, Teen Link is awesome.
Link
There
is-
are.
Amazing. Do great work.
We're gonna also share a lot of resources for folks who. Kelly, you're familiar with the term othering, right?
No, but I can infer.
Yeah. So basically,
Got it.
people who generally feel good, or you know, try to create a world where they make other people feel different, so that they feel normal.
Right.
Yeah.
And then, you know, they grow up to realize we're all just super weird, no matter what.
we're all just bizarre.
We're all just bizarre. But that applies to our friends and colleagues and our family members who identify as LGBTQIA. There are people who are, because of the color of their skin, because of their religion, race, creed, all of that stuff. There are resources out there to help empower folks to feel supported and loved and cared for.
Bless you.
Oh, thank you. Oh.
This is good. Dogstar says, so yeah, it's been a real talk behind the blocks.
Yeah.
Don't be a bully and stand up if you see a bully. But also, standing up doesn't necessarily mean putting yourself in danger. Standing up means going to a person who looks like they may be being bullied and saying, hey, come with me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
come with me.
it's
Get them
not-
out of
it's-
the situation.
Take them away from
I've
that.
seen plenty of online like videos and stuff where people just see someone being bullied and they go to the person and sit with them
Yeah.
and
I
just
think it's-
be their physical ally.
Yep. I think an important note is if you are in that situation,
It's like
uh,
humanity is so great
it's really beautiful.
sometimes.
The key is to de-escalate the situation for the person.
Right.
Being bullied, put yourself in a position where it's not escalated, but
And
de-escalate.
again,
You know, and I think that sitting with the person, making sure they're okay, staying
And you
with
don't
them
even have
throughout.
to sit and start having a deep dialogue about the psychological ramifications of
No.
bullying.
Back to
But
that.
if you just very quietly sit and be with that person or block or say, hey, come with me, or
Yeah, get them out of that situation.
one thing I wanted to share real quickly is that one of the things that I admire greatly about Timber, and you too as well, Kels Bells, but you know, I got for Christmas, I got you a shirt that says "You can sit with
You
us."
can sit with us. Yeah, I know that one.
As community peeps, that's kind of our job. But as human beings, that's kind of our nature. You know what I mean? That's baked into many of you may have also had an opportunity to meet UGW Lavender or Genius or Jeannie, as we like to call her. She's one of those too. She's like, you can sit with us. You're with, people are like, oh, I want to hang out with the cool kids. And we're like, you're the cool kid. we
you're
want to
the
hang out
cool
with
kids.
you.
Yeah,
It's also
Yeah.
a slight nod to Mean Girls.
It is.
it is. Yeah, Doug says you got it
Yeah.
right. I think so. It's, support the victim or just chat or be a ear to talk to.
Yeah. And sometimes it is just listening. I also do want to make doubly sure that I'm personally challenging you whenever you watch this to ask yourself, are you being a bully? And if you are, why? And find out and explore that.
Don't be afraid.
And don't be afraid. And also, apologies go a long way, especially if you mean it.
And self-forgiveness.
Yeah, that's a big one too.
Absolutely. Yep.
All
Yep.
right. Well,
You did
So we're going to be writing up a big article on
Yeah.
this. We're going to be sharing more information, but our commitment to this topic never ends.
Yeah.
We talk daily with the entire team about how we can stop that toxic online behavior before it starts.
Yep.
But never forget, if you are in a situation or you are in our community, I don't care if you're hanging out on your stream and somebody is bullying you that is a part of our community, Timber and I,
Yeah.
we'll get on it.
We're
Yeah,
your
we're here.
allies.
We're your allies.
we see
really
you.
are. We see you, and we love you. And we're really glad that you watched and hang out with us to, do these silly things. And
yeah, thank you guys so much.
yeah, we do enjoy it. What's going on this week?
This week, well, we're nearing towards the tail end of the week, which means we have happy hour this Friday coming up. Still looking for a streamer for that, so if you're interested, go ahead, drop me a note either here or at discord.gg/work, and we could chat and get that set up. Otherwise, yes, and we have a Saturday event too. If you are in the
yeah.
Sammamish area, Troy and I will be at a event hosted by the Sammamish Public Library.
By their teen services librarian.
Yep, she's awesome. and
Man,
we
they are
love her.
cool. The King County Library System is doing
So cool.
one of the best in the
Yeah.
nation, if not the world, if not the universe. If not, does it go universe, galaxy?
Nebula, sun, solar system. I don't know. Okay, I think I'm regressing.
Good thing we're not astrologists.
Yeah. Anyway, they're great. We're going to be there with Q.U.I.R.K and our VR rig.
Hundreds of people are supposed to be coming.
Yep, hundreds of people coming. And it's a Ready Player One party, so it's all 80s theme and all...
Or are you going to dress up in some 80s thing? I don't have any, slap bracelets or jelly shoes.
Oh, man.
Matt has a slap bracelet you can borrow.
Yeah,
Well, I
but
had that overall from the photo. I'm doing a tabletop RPG set in the 80s, so I cosplayed as my character.
When are you doing that?
But I already did. I have pictures on Twitter. Anyway, maybe I'll wear that. It's like overalls and like a
You did that
turtleneck.
while you were here in Seattle?
Yeah, of course. Like last weekend.
Of course.
I had no knowledge
Yeah.
of this.
No, I'm doing the tabletop this Sunday, though. But yeah. Anyway, you can watch Sunday and Saturday.
What if I
If
wanna
you're in the
go?
area, you could. What? It's on Twitch.
I want to be on
Interwebs.
Twitch.
You can be on Twitch. You can be on Twitch anytime you want.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it.
Anyway, yeah. So if you're in the area, check us out this Saturday. It starts at 1:00.
Yeah.
And it'll be really
1
fun.
o'clock, 1 o'clock Pacific.
Fun
But I
o'clock.
figure if you're not in the area, you're probably not
know.
going to show up anyway.
Unless we hook up a camera and do some. I don't even know if we can do that.
No.
I don't know. I don't know. Anyway.
But we'll keep you posted. Thank you so much for hanging out and having this really, really important dialogue with us. We appreciate you.
Really
We
so
do.
much.
One final thing.
But
We need your thoughts about topics you'd like to hear and people you'd like to hear about here on Behind the Blocks.
Mm-hmm.
So if you got an
that's
idea,
yeah,
share it with us.
Yeah.
And it can be crazy. It could be a tour of the studio. It could be an interview with anybody. You name it.
topics you want us to dive into and talk
Sure.
about, like
Yeah.
the one we had today, anything you'd like. We are all ears.
We
And
are all ears.
Next week is the last Wednesday of this month.
And you know what that means.
It's game night! I think we were talking about possibly setting up the Switch for some games too. Get
Oh,
some
no.
video
Oh, I
games.
want people to watch us.
Central.
I want to play that cooking game where you
I
got
have
really
not-
bossy and rude.
Oh yeah,
Excuse me,
speaking of
excuse
bullying.
I did not get to play that. I was not here that.
Okay, I'll bring it in.
We were missing you terribly and remarked on it often.
Yes.
So,
We'll bring it in. We'll bring it in. That's Overcooked is the game we're talking about. We might do.
Cooking games. Where you
Overcooked.
just have to manage everything and get all the orders.
Yeah.
There's like,
I feel like
yeah,
it's a
4 or 5
5-player
people.
game.
Yeah.
We have 4 players playing, and then we have like our Gordon Ramsay in the background, like you donkey, and
Georgina
Then we'll
Ramsey
win.
here.
Yeah, but I don't want to be playing. I just want to boss you guys around. Because you can't do both. It's too hard to do both.
I just like to troll people and yeah.
Anyway,
Anyway,
guys,
that'd be fun.
have a great rest of your evening. We'll catch you on the flip side.
Bye. Thank you.
Goodbye.
So I don't think any shrimps look like the shrimps that I'm making.
What does that mean?
Well, look at them.
You don't. Any shrimps are the shrimps that you're making?
I don't think shrimps look like the shrimps that I'm making.
Oh, general shrimps. I was like, but those are the shrimps that you're making.
Well, these are just shrimp-shaped
Yeah, that
colors.
one looks like a shrimp.
I
You've
think they
seen?
all look like
I've
shrimps.
seen
They're
pink
just
shrimps.
like, you
That
know,
one looks like a mantis
creative.
shrimp. Yeah.
You
They've just
can't
got
see
flair.
it.
I'm hungry.
It's electric
I wanna
shrimpy
eat
wimp
them.
wimp. Oh man, I'm starving.
electric.
Shrimp, shrimp, shrimp. But you know it's
no,
shrimp.
Again.
Oh,
the
darn
mics
it.
are
Let's
still-
turn the mic off.